How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the Shaun Attwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. And crazy news. Big shout out to Shane for literally getting this over to me the second that he's seen it. And, you know, it's weird because he phoned me up and he said, Charlie Kirk they've tried to unalive Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, who is Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk, you know, I'm very much a faces guy. You know, I very much remember every face I've seen, but names I struggle with. And as soon as I Googled it, I was like, I watched about 10 of this guy's shorts today. It's so messed up. It really, really is. Has he passed? Has he passed away? It's official. Oh man. So 2 minutes ago, I'll be honest, I'm seeing nothing online that's confirming that he's passed. I'll be honest with you, I can't find anything online. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not gotten here yet. It says that he was hit in the neck. It's on GB News. Okay. Trump announced it, Ron. Okay. Trump has confirmed it. Okay. Nice. Nice that you have confirmed that for me. How sad. Like, how sad. And Shane's also one of those friends that doesn't. He sends me things, you know, and if the footage that I've seen of the shooting was in fact real, it's just so messed up. And let me jump into some news reports on this because, you know, I'm just going to sit here and waffle otherwise. Let me just refresh this. There we go. Now it's updated. Here we go. All right, just bear with me, everybody. This is all kind of breaking and happening. Of course. As soon as we try and do anything. Now, I'm pretty sure Shane had said that they apprehended the guy, right? Yeah, 100% confirmed the sad passing. Let me just global sacrifice time of year. That is dark. Then wait, what? Wait. Okay, right. Let's just jump into this a minute. Let me make some space here for the freaking keyboard. Right, just so that everyone knows, all of this happened about half an hour before I went live on my previous live stream. I've done absolutely no research, no nothing. So we're collectively working together on this stream, okay? Because I want to know what happened. I want to know about this, the pew pewer. Wait, what? Shooting suspect. All right.
How dare you! A monster! Back up! That's a monster! A monster! How dare you! Back it up! Back it up! How dare you! How dare you! You freaking monster! Yeah!
I don't know. He said he shot him, but I don't know, dude.
Okay, so he has said that he shot him, but I don't know. Okay, so I don't know about you, right?
How dare you!
I wouldn't trust this guy hitting anything unless he was standing 10 feet in front of it. What? So, okay, thank you, Marvin. So, in a situation, Marvin, where we have a public execution like this, then we have a very, very public display of arresting. We have a old man with his trousers down. There's nothing more of a scene that you could cause than this. Okay? So when it comes to the human mindset, we see the perpetrator. We then have this de-escalation of emotion. It's replaced with other emotions, don't get me wrong. But what a very interesting public display. Well, I will say this, the footage that I've seen of what happened, I mean, it was, if it was a blood loss scenario and not so much where he was hit or whatever, if that makes sense, I could understand that, because it was real. And you know what's really scary? When you see the difference between where somebody is hit with the same object and arteries and things like this. It is, and well, I'll be honest, it looked like he was hit. He was sitting talking this way, and it looked like, oh, give me something, we'll use this. It looked like the trajectory was like this. Was it went wallop, and then he's completely contorted, and the amount of stuff that came out was just 100% looked like a hit on an artery. 100%. So sad, right? I'm gonna read some of these reports here. Please like and share, everybody, if you can as well. If you're just tuned in, you maybe not been here for a while, maybe you're a new subscriber. I'm Ron Swanson, one of the co-hosts for the Shaun Attwood channel. Now we are going to watch some of Charlie's content, and some of his shorts and things like this. I have no investment in Charlie Kirk and his whole movement or his political views. I knew him as a guy who created YouTube shorts that I have watched for years and years and years. And we're going to see right there, Colin, exactly. So for people like Colin, we're going to have a look at some of the stuff that he's done. And oh, Sammy, it was almost like if it was in a movie, you would have been like, there's no way it would be like that. No way. But I mean, it was, you know, it's weird though. You know how some impacts, there's very little blood going on, right? That was not one of them. I'm reading your side chat as well, everybody, just so you know. Let's read in this. So police have launched an urgent manhunt for the individual who is responsible for influencer Charlie Kirk at his event in Utah Valley University on Wednesday. Kirk was hit in the neck as he began a Q&A with students at the event, with footage sweeping across social media showing the commentator falling limp as he was struck. That's what I see. As chaos took over the scene, an elderly man was seen being hauled away by cops while furious witnesses screamed and hurled abuse at him. "How dare you, effing monster," one yelled, as the man walked away with his trousers down. The arrest came at the same time that officials said a suspect had been taken into custody. Now, listen, from a tinfoil hat kind of mindset, when police are looking for someone, they are in at an event, for example, like a missing child at a baseball game. Until they're told that child's been found, it is madness. Okay. So for that to have been announced so early and for this huge public spectacle under this arrest, I'm going to put my first little fishy pin in the board on that one. However, university spokesman Scott Trotter later said that the man in the video, who was believed to be the shooter, reports suggested that the man was heard remarking on the shooting as he was arrested. And a gun, a witness, that would have been the first thing, not a mumbling man. Reports suggested that the man was heard remarking on the shooting as he was arrested, and separate footage of the moment showed the elderly man repeatedly urging the crowd to shoot him. So in America, right, there's a shooting. There's an old man using harsh words. He's arrested. So have I missed a memo about mind bullets? Like if America has mind bullets now, then fair dues, bring in the old man. Reporters suggest that the man was heard. Okay, the gunman remains at large. Trotter said, and UAV locked down its campus as the Bedlam took over. I'm sure they did lock down the campus as Bedlam took over. Okay. But I'm sure they unlocked the campus once the trouserless mad shooter was apprehended, right? Right? Hours after the horrific shooting, President Trump confirmed that Kirk had passed, saying that he was loved and admired. Okay, we've got some more food. I'm just making sure we can watch it. Damn.
Counting or not counting game finals?
Oh my God.
Go, run, please.
Keep in mind as well, this is a college campus.
Apparently there's been a shooting.
Just want to point out as well that the sheer crowds this guy drew, okay? He was willing to sit and debate anyone who opposed his views, politically, religion, all of that. And the minute we lose the ability to stand in public and have open, peaceful debate without having to be any bulletproof box, we're etching towards that. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was definitely, how would we say in the UK, a bit like Marmite, right? You either loved him or you hated him, right? Looks fake to me. What looks fake to you, bro? What looks fake to you? This guy here. If so, I agree, sir. But let me know what you mean. Oh, Paula M. Paula M. number 2. What is happening? Hope you're doing well. Why no security guard? Well, okay, so when we talk about things like if you want to go to a campus, it's really your responsibility. The campus aren't there to provide you with security. It would be the same as if you rented a function hall, if you know, for an event. You'd have to put on your own security. And here's the goddamn lighter. For me, it's quite scary to think last year or the year before, I can't remember, when we had the Donald Trump attempted situation. We just had a young Ukrainian girl get on a bus, sit down, and for a man who had been arrested 14 times for horrifically abusive charges and never been sentenced, stood up and stuck a very sharp object in the side of her neck and got up and walked away as if nothing had happened while she bled out on the floor. It seems to me that there has been a shift in the social norm of violent act, unhinged act, all acts, all of it. Somebody raised the question. Oh, pushed the wrong button. Somebody raised the question the other day that if a parent cannot get their child to go to school, they are fined. If a parent leaves out a pew-pew in America in certain states and goes and does something terrible with it, the parents are arrested. So why are not all of the judges from his 14 other cases of horrific acts not being held responsible for allowing this woman to die? That's the world we're living in. Seeing the brutality of what took place, thanks to WhatsApp, can't unsee that now. It's terrifying for the next person who wants to stand and have open debate. And what the beauty of the internet and social media done for people like Charlie was it gave him the ability to sit with a little table in a public park and make a statement like, there is only two genders. Convince me I'm wrong. And for people to go and sit and have that debate. I think in the world, we're so, a certain demographic of us are so obsessed with never being seen as wrong, never being able to waver from the madness that we have convinced ourselves is the path we should be on. And when we take away the ability for us to discuss these things safely, calmly, even if it gets heated, even if you say horrible things to each other, no one should witness a man being unalived like that simply because he wants to sit and have this debate. Why all these neck attacks? That's a very astute point. He faced the threats, yep. Oh yeah, those kids, man. And here's another thing, right? The people that Charlie sort of pushed back against, okay, were a lot like, or you could argue allegedly, were a lot like an individual who recently committed an atrocity out in the USA. And there was a lot of things written on ammunition and weaponry. And it's quite scary. It's quite scary to think that there is a movement of people who, for years, a lot of people have been referring to as mentally ill, mentally unhinged. But sometimes you look at those people that are being called that and they don't emulate what we would consider a threat. They might look a little bit funny to some people. They might look a little quirky and different. They may project to you an image of passiveness, because passiveness and acceptance were something that used to kind of go hand in hand when somebody wanted to be accepted. And Tupac, right? Tupac said something years ago about equality. When the Black Panthers were asking for equality, they were asking. And now we're asking for equality years later. That's what Tupac said. What do you think we're going to do? Ask? And I really think That's what we're seeing the manifestation of. And this ain't justifying nothing, just so you know. This is me going down a sort of thought process. I think this is the beginning of a lot of atrocities. It feels like, and tell me if I'm wrong, it feels like the cliche metaphor of the loner outcast teenager is on steroids in 2025. Absolute steroids. I'm just catching up with you guys' chat just now. Yeah, maybe not the beginning, Pierce, maybe the middle, but it's escalated. That was really what I was trying to get over. It was an escalation. Also, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's come and joining us. There's 2,500 of us across all platforms. Big shout out to everyone on Twitter, 1,600 over on Twitter. If you are watching on our platform, please make sure you come and subscribe to the Shaun Attwood channel. Make sure you're subscribing with the bell on. And after this live stream, I will be live over on my channel, looking into all of the evil individuals that we've exposed over the years, checking back in with some of them to see if they've learned their lesson, and laying the groundwork for content that's coming next week. We're also going to be doing some fun stuff at about 11:30. Now, I think what we should do is, for those of you who maybe don't know,
let me ask you, can anyone become a woman?
Let's watch him. Okay, let's have a little testament to what this guy did. Because looking back now, you know this guy's emails are full of threats. You know they are. My emails used to be full of threats because of the work I done, and I was tiny compared to this guy. Tiny. So he knew. He knew. Let's watch them. Anybody gets an echo, let me know.
Guys, please.
Yes, I mean, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So yes.
Okay, listen. If a biological man came next to you in your dormitory or locker room, would you be okay with that?
If they came next to me
and started changing next to you.
Sure. What does that have to do with me? I mean, if
I really want people to focus on the level of madness that people are willing to say just to make sure they don't waver from their mission. Okay? Because I'm telling you right now, this woman here in the glasses, if she was at her gym and a man came in and took his clothes off next to her and started changing, he would be on TikTok and social media. So there would be a dust-shaped cloud of her Looney Tunes styling out of the changing room, TikTok live in hand. That's how that would go down. It wouldn't go down as, oh, hey, buddy, nice ball sack. How's your day going?
If that person felt more comfortable because they identified as a woman, then I wouldn't mind. But if I identified as a man, then maybe if they were hostile towards me, then I would care. But if it was someone that identified as a woman and they weren't hostile towards me, no, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, well, you see, the problem is I would mind if that man was stood next to my 7 or 8 year old. Okay, I would mind, because I wouldn't want to have to explain to my 7 or 8 year old. I'd say that I probably wouldn't be in the women's changing rooms with my 8 year old though. But you know what I'm saying, okay?
And you seem like a sweet person, but can you tell me what a woman is?
So the children should be deported as soon as they're born here.
Yes, with their parents, absolutely.
You don't think that we should give them? We shouldn't encourage them to become productive members of American society?
No.
Do you believe in the American dream?
Yes, of course, for American citizens, not for every person around the planet.
I agree. Regardless of national origin, the children of immigrants will become U.S. citizens.
Not just the children of immigrants.
You will slowly find that Charlie Kirk is the tiny voice inside most of our heads that none of us say out loud. Okay? You will start to think that. Okay?
It's not just that. The children of visitors become U.S. citizens. A pregnant woman can leave China who's 8 months pregnant, get a 90-day visitor visa, and then her baby becomes a U.S. citizen.
But if you were born on the soil, you have an inherent birthright to the benefits of American citizenship. And when you
And that's a huge mistake that devalues the meaning of what it is to be a citizen. Everybody here has a unique story of what your parents did for allow you to live in this country. That's called a social compact. But if all of a sudden you can gain entry and cut in line, it dilutes the sacrifices primarily.
What were we just saying on the last live stream? What were we just saying?
Of the greatest generation from World War II that allowed us to live here, and it is an insult to them to say that we
Correct.
can live in a free society.
Correct.
So
You're a teacher. Yes. What is a woman?
Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon.
So I want to thank you for proving a great point.
What?
You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much.
Are you married?
This is what I mean. Guy is a legend. Legend.
Yes, with 2 beautiful children.
Wow, good for you.
I could tell you're not married.
Mhm, yeah.
You're so scared to debate me.
Actually, I'm not scared.
Then debate me anytime.
Honestly, I'm good. I just debated the governor of this state. I don't need to debate you.
Did you ever heard of making a martyr? Because I'm telling you right now, you know that Che Guevara poster with the 2 colors with a face? I bet you before the weekend arrives, those pictures are that is on sale. Charlie Kirk's face, like the 2-tone Che Guevara poster before the weekend. I'm calling it.
Parker, okay?
You keep interrupting me. Every time I actually try to explain my point and have a reasonable conversation with you, you cut me off.
You're an English major.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another chance.
Okay.
What's your favorite Jane Austen novel?
Harry Potter.
What? Yeah. That legend.
Would you ever consider making a run for the presidency?
You knew that was coming.
I'm 31 years old. I got a great life. And my mission right now is defend the Trump administration on the great stuff they're doing, get J.D. Vance elected as the next president of the United States in 2028. And if they ever run out of people, I don't even know if I would consider it. You know why? People say, are you going to run for Senate or Congress? I'd say, listen, honestly, I think the impact we're making is bigger than sometimes some of the U.S. senators. I don't know if you guys agree or not.
I do.
But again, I'm not trying to, be braggadocious, but I can say what I want to say. We have a very successful podcast. Who listens to the Charlie Kirk Show?
Here's a very interesting little point I want us to I just want you to listen to this again.
That was coming.
I'm 31 years old. I got a great life. And my mission right now is defend.
Just in case you don't know, Charlie Kirk, the man on the screen right now, was assassinated outside a university in front of all of the students whilst he was doing his open debate, shot in the neck by an individual who is still at large. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
The Trump administration on the great stuff they're doing, get J.D. Vance elected as the next president of the United States in 2028. And if they ever run out of people, I don't even know if I would consider it. You know why? People say, are you going to run for Senate or Congress? I'd say, listen, honestly, I think the impact we're making is bigger than sometimes some of the U.S. senators. I don't know if you guys agree or not.
I do.
But again, I'm not trying to, be braggadocious, but I can say what I want.
Okay, so let's just think for a second. Let's go tinfoil hat. Let's say political assassination, okay? What if we're looking at a situation here where an individual who is not necessarily part of politics, but is 100% spearheading the narrative of a political side like Trump's, the impact that he is having, the minds that he's swaying, the reach that he has, plus the restrictions that he's not held under by not being an actual politician. I think we could put forward an argument that that could have been exactly the reason for what happened today. Because when the youth and future voters start being handed other ways of thinking, it's going to benefit or destroy one of the two parties involved. And I think when we've seen Trump, who was told by one of his children to go on Aiden Ross's stream whoever he was streaming, it never happened before anyway. Whilst the president was running, we seen Obama be interviewed right before he came out of office. But it's interesting to think we've seen the FBI on Joe Rogan's podcast. Narratives being shifted. I've got a live stream coming out next week all about Virginia Giuffre and how her family have now edited her memoirs before they're published to completely eradicate and change her entire legacy. Individuals like this, individuals with a voice, individuals who can change the narrative. Say what you want about Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers, but individuals who have a reach and a voice are a dangerous threat. Okay? A really interesting example of playing by the books is Mr. Beast. Okay? The minute Mr. Beast posts one thing that sways anything in the world, from politics point of view, from a culture point of view, from an anything point of view, that isn't just the mainstream format for change. Gather a crowd, get them to give you your money, use the money for the cause, you're going to get taken out. Mr. Beast on one of his YouTube channels is close to 500 million subscribers. Just to put that in context, that is more than the population of the entire United States. Truth Seeker, the whole Chris Trads situation with Mr. Beast, I'll be honest with you, I go a full tinfoil hat on that whole subject, bro. Like, that was the reason he was the offering. Like, that's where my brain goes with that. I'm being honest with you. I've got quite a long history with watching that channel and those people. Who's Mr. Beast? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, mate. He's the biggest YouTuber in the world. Does a whole bunch of random stuff. But, you know, close to 500 million subscribers on one YouTube channel. Mad. Anyway, so when it comes to powerful voices, powerful figures, it's about playing the game, right? But if you're playing the game for one of the two political parties, you're always going to be annoying someone, right? You can't be everyone's friend. But I'm going to be honest, I can see this being completely based off of an algorithmic assassination. Based off of future projections and numbers, impact and reach. That's why this happened. I'm calling it. But don't get me wrong, they will arrest some mentally ill individual, pin it all on them, and that'll be that.
I want to say we have a very successful podcast. Who listens to the Charlie Kirk Show? Anybody? I mean, it's amazing. Wow. Thank you guys. And our campus tours are sweeping the country, billions of views. I got over 1,000 employees. I'm the most blessed. I have to pinch myself when I wake up every single day.
All right, so let's have a look at the channel here. Clip channel, tiny. Turning Point USA, 3.3 million. Charlie Kirk, main channel, 3.8 million. Let's have a look at the algorithm. 7 hours ago, 106,000 views. The man had a voice and reach. Now, you could almost go through all of this and note all of the videos that came out in one day and looking at the ones where the drop-off happens. Because I imagine if we went to popular videos, 11 months ago, 8 million, 7 million, 6 million, and then throttled. All right. So I think it is important.
Ask you, what do you
I think it is important that we play through another couple of bits of this content, if you don't mind. If that's all right.
say to those that are against homeschooling?
Well, they can apply for a job from you in 10 years from now. So.
That's awesome.
You're going to be more polite smarter.
Haley, I just want to say, I feel the exact same way. I think we're going to see a staged event that takes Tommy Robinson out the game. Okay. We're going to see a staged event of Nazi-like behavior. And then we're going to see some civil unrest happening. You know? So I'm fully on board with your worries there, Haley. I really am.
Wiser, happier, more direction, more purpose, less corrupted, more understanding, more battle ready, better prepared, less confused, more biblical, more grounded, more Christ-like. If you are homeschool your kids if you can, homeschool your kids. If they're scorning you or they're saying bad things to you, blessed are you who are persecuted in my name, it says James 1:5.
Crazy when you talk to people who haven't homeschooled their kids about homeschooling their kids, and then you speak to someone who has homeschooled their kids. The two stories are so different. Paula M., how are you? I hope your interview went good today, my G. Paula just done an interview with Laura on the Shaun Attwood channel before my streams. Go and check it out. The title is wild, and yeah, it's what I'm going to be passing out to this evening because Paula M., the government tried to take me out. Oh yes, gripping, and I'm here for it. So yeah, big shout out to you, Paula. Now, also Royal Mess is on tomorrow, just so you know. I've just not posted the thumbnail yet. I'm trying to be I'm changing some of the branding and stuff, so it's happening, don't worry. I also just want to say to everyone that is watching, please make sure you're liking and subscribing. There's over 2,000 of you now, close to 3,000 across all platforms, but 2,000 of you on Twitter. If you guys are watching on Twitter, please make sure you come to the Shaun Attwood channel. If you want to support independent coverage of any subject, supporting us on YouTube, even just coming here to watch the content, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff, it costs you nothing, and it's what keeps the lights on. And I would really appreciate as much of you making the shift as you possibly can. Oh, Lulu. Yeah, I've seen the footage too. You know, it's really weird, and this is going to sound really mad, but it's only because of what's happened to Charlie and what happened to that girl on the bus. And watching someone the very second before something happens that they don't see coming has really plagued my mind this week about sitting on a bus, looking at your phone, and then 3 seconds later, you're bleeding out face down on the floor. Sitting at a university for the 10,000th time, answering the 50 millionth question. And then 1 second later, you're bleeding out on the floor. Do you know how scary that sort of thought process is for me? I'm neurodiverse, and my brain processes things very differently from a neurotypical person. And that's the sort of mind, those are the thoughts that make me stay in the house. You know, I used to be that weird guy that would come into a house party and only sit down if I was sitting in a place where I could visually see every entry point to the room. And do you know where I learned that from? Some weird movie, right, in the early 90s about an assassin trying to go back and fall in love with a woman. It was really cheesy, but he would never do that, and that stuck in my mind. False flag event. Okay. When you say false flag event, do you mean the man got shot and killed for real, but it's going to be made out to be a dyed-haired frickin' eco-warrior rather than a political assassination? Is that what you mean, Brian? I need you to answer the question, Brian, if you can, mate. I'll wait. Brian? Has Brian already answered me? I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Because a lot of people, right, are being re-educated on the term false flag so that you will say, hey, this is a false flag narrative, and receive hate for saying that this event never took place. So I'm just letting you know, mate. You need to, I know that sounds crazy, but again, for those of you who have just tuned in, the assassination of Charlie Kirk took place today. There was an immediate arrest that took place of the shooter. I'm going to show you the footage of the man they originally thought was the man who shot Charlie.
How dare you! 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 How dare you!
Put a one in the chat if this is the distant relative of a Rothschild that pulled the short straw for the false flag operation.
Back up! That's a monster! Monster! A monster! How dare you! Back it up! Back it up!
Because I'm not going to lie, right? This guy totally reeks of professional assassination, man. Guy can't even keep his trousers on. I'm just saying, in the whole history of assassins, I'm pretty sure all of them managed to keep their trousers on. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, if you were a high school, a university student, if you were a member of the public at this event, and it was indeed a false flag, what a incredible public display of police catching the bad guy, right? Catching the bad guy. Everyone can see this dangerous man with his trousers down. An absolute spectacle to shut down any further need to search or worry. When in actual fact, this man was then released from police custody because he was not the shooter. Oh no, Alexander, they got the right guy. 100% they got the right guy. They got the guy that they were told to get on the radio. These cops, probably just normal guys. Okay? But when a guy just gets shot in the neck in a way that was just, I'm telling you now, I think there's a reason why movies over-exaggerate how things happen. Because if that was a movie, it would have been a big splatter against the wall. Okay? And I think I would have been more comfortable with that. Because the reality of 8 pints of blood inside my body to no pints of blood left in my body was seconds. Seconds. The only thing that I've ever seen more shocking than that was when the cartels took that guy's leg and then cut it off at the knee and beat him with it. And his leg went from a leg to a battering tool in about 4 seconds. If you're a hunter or you've ever butchered, you'll know how quickly a joint will go from being a joint to now being detached. Wild. Wild. Here's the footage of what took place. Obviously, it's censored, but if you're just tuned in now.
Oh my God.
Is there any gun nerds? Any gun nerds in the that's watching this that can listen to the sound of that bullet? Because it goes crack, 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 right? It only does it once, but it sounds like it's close. It sounds like it's within the circle of buildings. Does that make sense?
Oh my God. Go, run, please.
Like, do you see the circle of buildings? Like, I feel like maybe like there was a dude up here or something. That sounds distant. And again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. That's why I've asked you guys. I'll have a listen. Have a listen. Crack. Crack, boom. Crack, boom.
Oh my God. Go, run, please.
I don't think me not talking is going to make it less horrendous. Okay, so again, it's just something for you guys to, think about. Because this is like a sniper's dream, this whole layout.
You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe.
You're annoying, Jerry. Okay, suck your mum. Okay. I hope all your next photos are overexposed. Fangool. Oh yeah, it was a neck hit. It was a absolute the artery that's there. Do I even care? Please be silent. I'm grieving. Do I even care? Are you all right? We all process things differently. Okay. We all process things differently. But I am outraged. Okay. I'm outraged that an individual who has been part of, and I'll be honest with you, my entertainment online, that's as far as I was invested in this man. But we're talking years and years. I've seen him stand up for what he believes in. Stand there, take criticism, give criticism, and debate openly with anyone that dare stand in front of him. And for me, sitting here and examining the only bits of evidence we're given, which to me is the noise, because everything else in that moment is blacked out. We can't see where he's hit to try and guess where it's come from, anything like that. So the sound of that bullet is the reason that I brought it up. It's something we can sort of dive into. What was his topic? That it will have been the same thing that he always does, but I can try and find out. And there was somebody else. Somebody else had a statement. Sniper rifle sound. At Ron, Stewie. What does Stewie say? You're better off. There we go. They just put him in South Park too. Yeah, I didn't see him. I thought the new series of South Park building up to them not having legal issues by saying that Donald Trump is effing Satan was some of the most genius narrative build up I've ever seen in my life. Brilliant. He was talking about gang violence. Okay. Thank you, Winter. Thank you. Yeah, Ron's not for everyone. I get that. But you're free to go and watch something else or suck your mum. Like, Ron's not here for your approval. Trust me. Wild. I mean, look at this guy. Now, I'm not saying old dudes aren't capable of some madness. They are, okay? But if he was standing in the crowd and he was a suspect, surely there would have been a weapon nearby. Surely, right? Or, I mean, even him throwing it in the air or lobbing it or chucking it somewhere, it's going to be found pretty rapid. But because someone in the crowd, because here's something else, right? Fair enough, the man was shouting, shoot him, and then someone shot him. Okay? I can see why they arrested him. But he wasn't arrested when he was shouting, shoot the man. Okay? But I can understand. But even then, if the police are already watching him for what he's saying, then surely they would have been watching him to see that he never shot. I don't know. Maybe they thought, maybe it was like he was the signalman or something. But crazy. Now, I want to just go back to some more of Charlie's content for a minute. All right. All right, love. So we'll be back. Well, I'm still here, but we'll be back in just a minute. If you guys have got any points or questions you want to put across, and then we'll go back to whatever the new news headlines are. But it is important to just watch some of this man's content, because he gave a lot of his life, and it'll be a while before we see another Charlie.
Charlie Kirk, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him.
I'm going to send her a signed hat. Hey, everybody. I joined the set of CNBC Squawk Box, which they were honestly great hosts, but we had a throwdown about populism, nationalism, and the future of the country. Watch.
My worry about populism is, and this is true on both sides of the populist situation, that effectively voters get lied to. They get lied to about what the politicians can actually do for them. That's what populism actually is.
But the technocrats have been lying to us. It's not like this idea that populists are going to lie. President Trump's the one that's actually kept his promises. He said he's going to secure the border, and he did. He said he was going to appoint the people the Supreme Court did. But I would just say, beyond Mamdaniism, the thing I want to caution your audience is you're going to get Maggioniism. You're going.
I'll be honest, Matt, so talking about a sniper in this, the footage of him, like, I don't know what the rules for sniping are. I heard that you'll always try and take a chest shot, right? Always. And the way this guy was hitting the neck, like, here's the scary thing. We all assume that a person pulls a trigger, okay? Like, why would you have human error involved in 2025 when it comes to assassinating anyone from a government or political point of view? You would just have an algorithm with a camera working out wind, velocity, everything, and doing it for you. And I honestly feel that that's what we're looking at. And I'm just a guy on the internet. You can disagree with me. It's not an echo chamber. I fully endorse people pushing back. MK Ultra. See, from a sleeper cell being activated to do a job point of view, I think they would have just caught him instantly afterwards, or he would have been shot by police on scene. That's usually the narrative for things like that, right? It sounded close, like a 22. Okay, we've had 200 meters plus from a sniper. We're now saying it sounds close, like a 22. Imagine the capabilities of sneaking in a device that can fire a single 22 round, is quite incredible. You could 3D print something that looked like a water bottle that you pulled back the straw section like a firing pin and let go, and out the bottom of it would fire. Okay? Am I wrong, American gun buffs? I'm not. Go and Google the Liberator 3D print. So from a 22 close range point of view, yeah. But again, I believe in that situation, somebody would have noticed in the crowd. I really do. I really, really do. I really do. Basic assault rifles, 300 meters quite easily. Yeah, it's quite wild when you look into the tactical capabilities of some of the assault rifles. Fair dues, though, because, you know, war, messy. Ron, after Trump missed, they couldn't take any other chances. I'm telling you now, right, if Trump had nothing to do with his assassination, like if it wasn't just a huge staged piece of shenanigans, that is the only story that I'll be telling for the rest of my life. And I'll tell you something else. When he was on his arse and realized he'd survived this, he went straight into marketing guru format. And he was like, okay, I've got to stand up and I've got to do the fist bump to the air. And then I've got to literally stop the Secret Service dragging me for me to go, yes. And that's what he done. Freaking lunatic. But props to him. Props to him. And like for me, any time where like a random fireman is taken out the game and is a real person, I find it hard to start questioning the legitimacy of things, if that makes sense. Anyway, apologies again if you're new to Ron. I am slightly on the spectrum, and I do side quest a little bit, so I do apologize. You'll either love it or you'll hate it.
Even though
but
America's
it is what it is.
Constitution explicitly forbids racial discrimination, our government ordered people to do it anyway. People were denied jobs and denied promotions. Kids were shut out of universities based on the color of their skin rather than their ability. Companies were denied federal contracts because their owners didn't look a certain way. People who didn't discriminate enough in hiring could be sued by the government. Every company in America lived in fear of their government deciding to target them for offenses against DEI. Trump has ordered DEI to be torn down, but I want him to tear it down faster. I want every university told that they're losing all federal dollars immediately if they don't stop racial discrimination. I want the Department of Justice to start auditing every federal contractor to find DEI and shut off contracts immediately wherever we find it. This is a kind of cancer that cannot be phased out. It must be ripped out from the core.
Do you know, two things. Big shout out to Pam. I hope you're feeling better, Pam. I'll catch up with you when we're on another channel. So somebody just mentioned how he looks good in a suit there, or something like that. He cleans up well or looks good like this. So it's interesting that we have an individual who has such a voice, who can rub shoulders with politicians and, dare I say it, elites, but then also sit in a t-shirt on a fold-out table in a public park looking for open debate. I think that makes him far more dangerous to the opposition than if he was one or the other. You know, there's a lot of people who are one or the other. You're either that guy who sits in the park or you're that guy who rubs shoulders. And it's interesting that he existed within the two. You know? I love Jesus. Do you know what, mate? Right? I hadn't actually looked into that subject until I seen a drone flyover of what has happened to one particular side of that situation. And it's mad, mate. It's mad. I'm not on anyone's side, and I'm not someone that wants to hear about it because I've got my own crap to deal with. But man, there is something going on in a boardroom with world leaders that we are so far from ever even knowing. It's terrifying. It really is terrifying. And the way that Donald Trump handled the insertion of America into that disagreement and how it was all dealt with in about 2 days, that ain't how it played out. And I'm sick of hearing about it too, everybody. Okay? But just take 2 minutes and go and look at what people are triggered about. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And it's not about, I'm not saying pick a side. I'm just saying it's pretty mad. It's pretty mad, mate. Like when they call it a conflict, like if you and I go out into the park, right, and we have a conflict, you throw a punch, it misses me, and I spend the rest 8 or 9 hours stomping on your head in the park. That's not a conflict. That's me absolutely licking 7 shades out of you. Do you see what I mean? So term is wild. Anyway, that's not what we're here to discuss, but I just wanted to let you know I agree with you, but also it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad.
Okay, break.
Actually, what I'd like to do is go back to some more of his public stuff. Here we go.
I'm lucky to have found the love of my life. However, she's not where I am in my journey with Christ, and I want to have a marriage centered around Christ, and I want to know what are some of the best ways I can help guide her towards our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, so that we can share a happy future together.
It's a phenomenal question. What is her objection as to why she will not follow Jesus?
She doesn't really know how there can be a higher power when there's so much evil in the world.
So here's what you should say. Their evil cannot exist if there is no standard of good. She only knows something is evil because she believes there's a transcendent good. Evil does not exist. Evil is just an opinion if there is no God. Murder is not wrong if there is no God. Stealing is not wrong if there is no God. So the way to convince her of that is that you're not the first person to wrestle with the question of evil. The more important question is it actually evil? Or is it just an opinion? And we believe, we know as believers that there's an absolute standard above us that we appeal to. The Bible tells us two things. God will use all things for good for those who love him, Romans 12:2. But that might not satisfy her. Instead, the question of evil should be, we as Christians, we have to explain a couple things. It's really tough for us to wrestle with the fact that these girls are at Christian summer camp and they get washed away in a flood. It's tough, right? We have to explain child cancer and flooding and earthquakes. But the atheist, they have to explain everything else.
Now, you know, I'm not part of the Jesus crew, right? But there's stuff going on in my country over religion, over deities right now. And for me, Christianity as an organized religion in the UK, the majority of the issues stem from the management and the individuals who represent that religion in the majority of the cases where things that have gone wrong have gone wrong. Not in every case, obviously. But it does state in the Bible that you are better to be thrown from a boat into the sea with a rock attached to your legs than bring harm to a child. There's other organized religions where the main character in their story consummates a marriage with a 9-year-old girl. I'm not saying that it's not a bit sus that Joseph was in his 90s, Mary was about 14, she suddenly gets pregnant, and then he moves to another freaking town and is like, don't know how that happened, but we won't break that down too much. Because actually do you know what changed my whole thought process when it comes to religious deities? I met this demon hunter, right? And the way that she does her job is in a sort of trance. And I asked her if she'd ever seen any religious deities come to help her rid the poor person of their demon. And I think it's the Indian goddess with all of the arms, the one who is the goddess of destruction and rebirth. I can't remember her name. She turned up, okay, and went super violent with swords. And she said Jesus turned up a couple of times and just put their hand on the demon and he just went poof. Just poof, right? Off you go. And like, I was like, oh, that is so Jesus. Like, he is Shiva, thank you. Jesus, as far as like Mortal Kombat characters go, would be the most chilled out dude in the history of the game. And although my gods are different to a lot of yours, I believe in all the gods. I just think some of them are newer than others. So when Charlie talks about his faith, and he has a lot of discussions with people who are atheists, who are people who've got family members and loved ones who are atheists and things like this. And I always feel that I understand the mindset and the culture of that faith when someone like Charlie speaks about it, you know? And I can't say it's like that for all religions with me. I also want to say, right, Judaism. Why, where are they? Like, it's a massive religion. I'm not even sure I know who they worship. Why? Why is that? It's so weird. Like, there's religions that I know more about for no reason at all. And for some reason, I feel like there's been no passive learning in my life on Judaism. It's so weird. It's so weird. But it's so off the scale of data as to how minimal it is. I actually questioned it when with one of my Jewish friends. I was like, why do I know nothing about it? And it's like, well, we kind of aren't looking to promote and bring people in. And I'm like, well, how does that work? Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, but it was fascinating. Anyway, let's continue with this.
Your worldview is
Oh wow, he was in South Park.
indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
South Park is racist. Come on. South Park is probably the greatest example of writing, of what is it when you come up with theories? And it's always those knobheads that do it in university. Oh, I take something. What is it? It's when people are just theorizing about pish. What is that called? Someone's going to know. Someone's going to let me know. Put a one in the side chat if you thought the Tolkien reveal in South Park was one of the greatest moments ever. One in the side chat. Not theorists. Philosophy. Thank you, Lulu. Philosophy. Philosophy. They were hailed as one of the greatest examples of writing and philosophy, right? By a bunch of people who are really a lot smarter than all of us at one point. South Park, you can say what you want about it, but it is one of the greatest displays of intelligent writing you're ever going to see. It's awesome. It's stupid, but it's awesome. And it's definitely not racist at all. Maybe a little bit.
I want to ask you, if Michelle Obama throw hands with Kamala Harris, who's going to win?
Michelle Obama in like 10 seconds.
Well,
Michelle Obama would manhandle Kamala Harris.
I think it's Harris. I think it's Harris. Me
No
personally.
way. No way.
Because look at Harris. Like she can just like talk her game in front of Michelle Obama, and then like Michelle can get distracted.
Yeah, but look at every other fight against a naturally born woman and a trans woman in the history of the world and how that's went.
She can like sneak like an uppercut in. I don't know. It could happen.
I think Michelle Obama's a street fighter. I wouldn't.
I think it's genetics, mate.
I agree on that part.
There's a lot more I could say, but I would not mess with Michelle Obama. If you want to have a privileged life in America, very simple. Start acting a certain way.
What do you mean act a certain way?
Get married to one person and stay married to that person and don't abandon them, of which 75% of black men do.
So, okay, we have 2 black men right here. By that statistics, one of us is not going to get married to one woman. So,
okay, I hope you guys defy the odds.
Okay, so
were you raised by two parent household?
Yes, I was.
Okay, good.
Oh, God. Sorry. Okay, let me just jump back into the case here and what's been getting live reported. Oh, my God. No. So it's interesting that an hour ago, 2 hours ago, okay, 47 minutes ago. Okay, let's jump into these two. A witness claims alleged Charlie Kirk shooter yelled, "I'd do it again." So is this the alleged shooter who has been cleared of being a shooter? This is unavailable. I think not. That's what I thought. That was weird, man. Where does that article go? All right, that was bizarre. Let's just move on. Okay, so university is closed following shooting. Police say person taken into custody was not the shooting suspect. So anytime that we now see, oh, Royal Daily Tea, how are you? Good to see you. Well, I know that he's dead. I know that he's dead. I don't know what part of the live stream you're watching, but we're way past having to worry about Ron being a dumbass. Charlie Kirk in critical condition. Yeah, okay. So prominent Donald Trump supporter Charlie Kirk has passed away after he was shot in the neck at Utah Valley University. Donald Trump confirmed, yeah, okay. He was loved and admired. Haunting last words before he was shot. The final words of conservative activist Charlie Kirk before he was tragically shot and, hang on a second, tragically unalived. Hang on. Okay. The horrific incident took place on Wednesday in Utah Valley University at around 12:25 local time. The 31-year-old commentator was addressing attendees through a handheld microphone while seated beneath a white marquee displaying the messages, "The American Comeback" and "Prove Me Wrong," just moments before the shooting occurred. When that was standard for Charlie, that was his whole... In fact, he sort of evolved into having a marquee. He started out just, like I say, with a fold-out table in a park, asking people to come and change his mind on subjects that were at the center of what we regarded as the woke movement, shall we say. That's crazy. Okay. He was in the midst of a discussion about gun violence in the US, when he was shot by an unidentified gunman who remains on the loose. Kirk lurched forward as blood started to pour from his neck, and then he collapsed from his chair as terrified students started to run, scatter terror from the scene. This is so wild. Rod, open the phone lines. That's a good idea. I tell you what, Ron can't open the phone lines, but what Ron can do is post a link for you guys to come and join him, and I can bring you in, and then I've got control over any lunatics. Collab cam. There we go. Just bear with me. So, if you want to come on the show, if you just click on that link right there, and we'll see how much trouble this causes. Because I would love to hear from you guys. I really, really would. And whosever idea that was a great idea. Ron will have his phone line up and running. I know he keeps saying that, but he will. I promise I will. But yeah, feel free to use that link. Come and join us. I will be live over on my channel. And I think I'm meant to be live right now. Am I not? Shit. Hang on. Yeah, we better just edit the start time of this. 1 second. 10:30. Yeah. Okay. So let's go 11:30. And then for the other stream, let's go 12:30. Busy day. Can I ask anybody who's had a weird time during October? Lethargicness, feeling just run down for no reason, almost to the point of like emotionless nullness. Let me know. Okay, so I'll post a link again. Anyone who wants to come and join us. Also, you don't have to worry. You won't be seen on the stream or anything like that. You will be heard, but you don't have to worry. But I would love to hear from you guys. I can also open the other avenues for correspondence if needed. But I don't think anyone wants to come and talk to me. I have no friends. So I know it's September. I'm not talking about September. I'm talking about October. What are you talking about? Oh, no, August. Ha! Sorry, August. Oh, I thought you were all mental. No, August I meant, not October, dumbass. Also, did you see the whole Trump working as the undercover FBI agent in the Epstein case? Has anybody talked about that on the Shaun Attwood channel yet? Because that was a thing that happened. What a narrative, man. What a narrative. But yeah, Ron's, yeah. All right, nobody wants to come and talk to me. That's fine. That's fine. I don't even care. I don't even want to talk to you. So really, other than just sort of regurgitating what's being posted online, I don't know what else I can say about this. It's so sad. And again, there'll be people who are watching this who've been heavily invested in Charlie Kirk because of his political views. And you'll have been following him for different reasons that I have. I have merely followed him as a literal creator on YouTube. His shorts and his videos that are, you know, him just engaging in open debate. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I love to listen to the other side of the argument. If all you're doing is locking yourself away in an echo chamber where you don't even open yourself up to the possibility of listening to the opposition or the other side of the coin, you're doing yourself a disservice. And the people that stand up and promote open debate, you know, they're a dying breed. Especially, I can tell you this right now, the future Charlie Kirks are either going to be out in the masses or scared off by what's happened. You know? When the world starts to be changed or individuals have the power to sway things, it does not sit right with the powers that be. The world's not being shaped for a rogue member of the peasant side of this globe to stand up and take the slave race and point them to the truth, or to start eradicating division. You know, and when what he's saying is backed up with statistics, it takes it to that next level. Now, I think we'll probably go till about 1:15. So let me just update my other stream. Now, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this whole story, and I want us to discuss all of the possibilities of what took place that day. The sound of the bullet. This incredibly dramatic public arrest of a man that turned out to have nothing to do with anything. Naomi, right? And here's the thing, Naomi, you could have been watching him for years and not really realized the full extent of his political work, like myself. You know, I knew him as an influencer / content creator. Never watched his podcast or anything like that, but his short form content, you couldn't get away from it. You know? You couldn't. And of course, he's the one making the short. So, you know, he did, you know, put out his point of view. So you could say he was biased to the shorts that he put out and things like this. But he never shied away from any of the questions he was asked. And I think the question we need to ask now, are we looking at a new form of opposition that could be targeted by one side or the other? Because when an individual isn't governed by politics and doesn't have those restrictions for what they can say or do, individuals that support politics, who have a voice, who are changing the minds of the future tax-paying voters, if that's not the most terrifying update of an algorithm to the monsters that run this world, I don't know what else is. And when we have a situation like this where somebody isn't shot and killed on the scene right after it happened, that's the most sus thing I've ever seen, heard about in my life. Ever. You know, it really is. For a start, it's a university campus in America. All I've heard about for the last 10 years is American campus security, campus this, campus that, campus this. Rightfully so, though. Like, America's mad. Do you know that? Like, when you actually break down, when you just talk about one thing, it doesn't seem as mad. But see, when you start grouping together all the tiny little fires that make a massive furnace, it is mental. Like, it's mental. And I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? I've got family in America. But it's mad. Like, it's the most stupid way of running a country ever. It's mad. Do you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to all the Americans, though. I love you guys. I'm telling you, in the future, scientists will debate about this time in history when America was never as armed as it has been right now in the history of America, and have a population terrified to do anything. Because I'll be honest, that's the most un-American thing I've ever heard. Like, when you look at American history, I'm going to say this now, 1883 changed me. It changed me. And those people that before the railway lines were built were taking wagons from one side of America to another, starting off with 300 or 400 people on a wagon trail, ending up in California with 7 people left. See those 7 people? Badass. Okay? And they just died out. And now what we're left with are the people that waited for the trains to be built. Because the wagon riding badasses have died out. And we all want to project that image of badass. But for some reason, it doesn't manifest when it needs to. Whether it's tyrannistic governments, whether it's oppressive extremists, we are the most pansy-ass generation of humans ever. And that includes me. But you need to ask yourself, how many of your ancestors bled just so that you could live the life you're leading right now? And how many of them would be absolutely mortified at the level of control and fear instilled in modern man? Because if this was a matter of statistics, and there's 100 people, and 1% of that 100 was a problem. That's one person. And the other, that would be 1 versus 99, right? But that one person was able to communicate with everyone instantly. And everybody else didn't have that ability. His ability to address everyone at once is what has kept him alive. And when you look at the data, when they say the 1% rules the world, that leaves 99% of 9 billion. If you gave those mathematics to anyone fighting for freedom 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 years ago, that would be the easiest day at their frickin' job in decades. 1%. But what an incredible job they have done in creating distraction, creating society in a way where you own nothing. Everything is being rented to you. And that's what they want. And hey, 99% of us are going to end this podcast, and within the next hour of ending this podcast are going to be more worried about the things that directly affect them. Their kids, you know, their loved ones. Hang on one second. There we go. Their loved ones. council tax, their rent, all of this. Society, for those people that crossed on the wagons, was never meant to be this way. Because in actual fact, they were the 1%. The 1% of the individuals who were capable of standing up and fighting for what was right and true. What we have been left with now is a diluted version. We're so scared because our fear directly correlates with how information travels. So 500 years ago, you mess with me, I ride past you on a horse and drag you behind the horse and then dump you in the woods. No one finds out about it. Brilliant, right? Fast forward, CCTV, we're watched. We have been so conditioned to release protecting and governing ourselves and our own to the powers that be. Because if we aren't turning around to them for safety, comfort, healing, banking, they can't control us. It was a slow and arduous a process to wipe out those who stood against this in what was once known as the free land of America. A royal mess tomorrow night. Because I'm telling you now, in the same way as the dumbasses outpopulated the badasses when the wagon era was happening, the dumbasses outpopulated the incredibly smart people that built the pyramids as well. Mathematically, we've just outpumped all these people. My brain is weird. So listen, Charlie did fight for freedom. He loved his country. He loved his religion. He loved his politicians. He loved his politics. He loved sitting there and looking his opposition in the eye in healthy debate